14 mainline entries over the course of 18 years. That is a long time for one series to be running, and it's hit some pretty large boulders while being dragged into the modern era. Assassin's Creed has an identity crisis. It was once a focused stealth espionage game, then an action-adventure series, and now, honestly, I don't really know what it is. Ubisoft have spread their AC butter way too thin over the gigantic slices of bread that they call their games, and it shows. Today we're going to discuss 3 major issues plaguing modern Assassin's Creed games and how they can be fixed. So let's just dive straight in. As I alluded to in my intro, AC doesn't know what it wants to be. A huge reason why is because they have made so many games that all try to do things differently. People who like AC1 won't necessarily like Valhalla, yet they are in the same series. Hell, some people who love the Ezio trilogy don't even like AC1. One of the biggest aspects of this is game length, or how long they can keep you playing the game. Valhalla has the longest main story of the series, taking on average about 61 hours to complete. And if there was a need for it to take that long, it would be fine. There are plenty of games that never feel like they're overstaying their welcome at even longer length. But as for Valhalla, it does feel like it's hanging around long after the party has ended. Valhalla is probably double the length that it should be with the story they were trying to tell. The game is also even more inflated with endless side content, with a large majority of it feeling like meaningless filler. I also think the worlds of Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, and Shadows are just too big. There's no need for them to be that large. I've completed every bit of content in AC Shadows bar the collectibles, and there's still huge expanses of the map that I've not been to yet. These 3 maps could have been shrunk by at least 30% in my opinion. This would allow the devs more time and money to work on other aspects of the game, or even improving the things they already have in these worlds. The AC games used to be set in one city, or a few smaller ones. This allowed for greater details and a more immersive world. But releasing a game set in one perfectly created city like Mirage, after 3 huge open world RPGs, wasn't enough for the people who came to the series with Origins. They expect sprawling open areas with lots of cities to visit. In contrast, someone who loves Baghdad or Paris might look at the size of Odyssey or Valhalla and despise their open areas and lackluster cities. Prior to 2017, no AC game story was longer than 24 hours, most not even breaking the 20-hour mark. However, since then we've been getting 30-hour plus games, with Valhalla being the longest. This is when the switch to the RPG creed started. Not only are the stories longer, but the side content also takes up a lot more time. Every piece of extra content to pad runtime is development time and expenses that could have been used to perfect other areas or systems of the games. The problem lies in the fact that they have now cultivated an audience who expect these longer games. Not only the old fans are playing these games, new ones are too. The RPGs attract gamers who are looking for different things. Fans of the original series want a tight, focused game, where every mission feels different and handcrafted. And the newer fans want games that they can play for months or even years. This was seen when Mirage released. Now while the game does have many issues, to me its shorter length is actually a good thing. There was no need for Mirage to be any longer than it was, yet I get comments daily telling me how bad it was for being so short. It has a 16-hour story, and while it's not a very good one, I still prefer that to the long, drawn-out stories we've been getting in the RPG creeds, Origins being an exception to the rule. So we have 2 sets of gamers now wanting different things from the same series, and this is a problem for Ubisoft, because instead of focusing on one of these groups, they're trying to please everyone, and that leads to mediocrity in many areas. Let's try and bring down the story length and the world size. Tell a compelling, meaningful story in one city, and take about 25 hours at the most to do it. With all the extra dev time, maybe they can add vital features like decent parkour before the game releases, instead of afterwards. Are you enjoying the video? If so, pop down below and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss my weekly uploads of Assassin's Creed content. Thanks, I really appreciate it. So now that we're done comparing dick sizes, let's move into a more specific area of the games, the actual mechanics themselves. Now I and many other old school AC fans would argue that many of the pillars that once held Assassin's Creed high are often missing in these newer games. Many of the entries in the series include some of these pillars, and then they're missing from the next game. To me, these things should be in every Assassin's Creed game no matter what, and they should be the main focus of the games, yet so often they're not even there, or they're so terrible that they might as well not be. These pillars are stealth, social stealth, parkour, combat, modern day, Isu, Assassins Templars, the creeds of both of them, and the fight between freedom and control. It's a big building, okay? It needs a lot of pillars. I know it sounds ridiculous when I say it like this, but sometimes we don't even have fucking assassins in Assassin's Creed games. I know, and their creed is also absent way too often. Shadows has basically no assassins and no creed outside of a few notes, which they just say the creed itself without delving into any of it. I've gone on and on about this topic, so I won't rehash it here, but my main point is that AC has a big problem in this regard. Many mainstream people do not care about this stuff. They just want to play as a sneaky little sneaker in a historical setting, or in some cases, a fucking unit with an axe rampaging through towns and fortresses. I'm sorry to say this, but if you don't like modern day, or the Isu, or the fight for freedom versus control, then you don't really like Assassin's Creed. You like historical combat stealth games. These are hugely important parts of this series, which make it stand out from the crowd of every other historical game. This shit is so cool when taken seriously. But that's the problem. Ubisoft realized that they could cash in even further on the more casual gamers, the normies, who don't play these games like some of us crazy people. They realized that the thing that made it unique also made it more niche. So they tried to strip away as much of it as they could. They didn't want to scare away little Johnny boy who plays the new COD, Fortnite, and buys the same football game every year with better graphics. No offense if that's you, by the way. Oh, who am I kidding? They're not watching this video. They're off watching TikTok while mewing into the mirror or something. I don't really know what kids do these days. So now Ubisoft has watered down these aspects of the game so much that they're almost pointless. All the fans are not happy about it, me included. This is a strange little example I came up with. This is the difference between making a terrible Minecraft movie that makes billions, or creating a truly moving piece of cinema that barely breaks even despite it being 50 times the film that Minecraft is. Ubisoft don't care about making a decent profit from this franchise. It has to be shitloads, and it also has to be more than the last game in the series, milking as much from the cattle as they can. And unfortunately for me, it's working. I hate it. I just wish they could make games that are really amazing, games that mean something, that make a couple of $100 million, instead of a bunch of 7 out of 10s that gross billions. Ubisoft Quebec clearly does not want to make Assassin's Creed games. They have done all they can to move away from it, but the higher-ups continually push them to make more, churn out more gruel for the masses. Syndicate was at least similar to an AC game, but Odyssey and Shadows did their best to stray as far away as they possibly could. Odyssey played nothing like any other AC game, and its story had almost nothing to do with the series as a whole, apart from completely ruining the Isu. And Shadows, well, in parts it can play like an AC game, as long as you're playing as Nawe. But it's also lacking many features that I, an old school fan, think really make them an AC game. Shadows tries so hard not to mention Assassins or Templars, or freedom and control, and has, as of now before any DLC is released, no Isu artifacts whatsoever. Its modern day is also surprisingly terrible. It's surprising because it's even worse than I thought it was going to be. Forcing a studio to make games they don't want to make is never a good idea. I'm sure there are some people there who really want to make AC games, but they clearly aren't invited to the writing meetings. It just feels like Quebec hate Assassin's Creed, so let them make something else. Let their creativity invent a new series. Ubisoft once took a gamble on a Prince of Persia spin-off game that became its own thing, and that was Assassin's Creed 1. Maybe if you let creatives be creative, then you could have some new amazing IP, that you'll probably just milk dry anyway. What's the point in forcing them to make these games? They just turn out half-baked and feel like they lack creativity and flair. Okay, this video felt pretty negative. I'll try and make a more positive video next week. But this has been on my mind for a while, so it's nice to get it off my chest. Speaking of which, if you're still here, thank you for listening to me waffle. Thank you to my Patreon, Alex Applegate. Link is in the description if you want to support me there. And I'll see you in the next one. Sticks out.